highlights, the financial review, um, then 2026 strategic initiatives, and then wrap things up with the PDU claim code at the end. So, Joe, if you want to move to the next slide. We are going to go ahead and ask that you put yourself on mute, and that you please submit your questions in the chat. Joe's going to be monitoring the chat, and that we will try to raise questions as we go along. But rather than having people speak in the middle, if you can submit the question, and we will try to address it throughout the course of the meeting. So, next. Dominic, if you wanted to run through our sponsors.
Oh, but I do. Okay, so chapter sponsorship, you'll see more details on the chapter financials later in this presentation, and you see that the chapter is mostly funded by dues. But the chapter is able to attract some additional dollars through sponsorship in which companies want to either associate with our chapter or connect with members. And these dollars, they're then, invested in chapter programming, allowing us to increase what we can offer our members. So last year's happy hour awards reception was a great example how we were able to upgrade that event for our members. And as our programming evolves, our sponsorship has evolved. Where in the past, sponsors were satisfied to be a chapter sponsor, and they would appear on this slide. They had the logo on our slides, and then they would staff a display table at our in-person events. But we don't program like we did before. We program differently now. But our March meeting, the one I just mentioned about the Velasano, is a great example of what the traditional meeting model was. Wouldn't you agree, Joe? Um, you know, um, there's a networking event ahead of time. Parker is going to host us in a really great facility. It's easy to get to, kind of thing. And then we're going to have a PDU event on this presentation on project managing the Velasano. But we don't do a ton of those. We don't do those every month, in the same cadence that we used to. We have a lot of other different types of events. So we have more virtual events. And our in-person event attendance has quite frankly decreased. Our membership has increased, but our in-person event overall has per event has decreased. And I think that the pandemic sort of shaped kind of all what all that's about. Andy, you can switch the slides. I'm going to wrap this up here in just a second.
Joe? Yep.
Oh, Joe, sorry. Sponsors and potential sponsors are interested in events where they can connect with our members. So there's been a shift of these, year-long sponsorship to specific event sponsorships, where sponsors want to know what events we're holding and decide, how much they are willing to participate. So none of this is negative. I'm really that engaging with our members is what these sponsors and potential sponsors want to do. And of course, most of our sponsors are in the recruiting space. We don't sell our membership list or share our contact information. We may, from time to time, send sponsorship information on their behalf, but any contact information shared with a sponsor is shared by the member themselves when they meet they volunteer, they talk to the sponsor and exchange that information. And I want you to know it is okay to engage in these sponsors, right? You may or may not be in the job market, you may not be in a position to hire. It's all fine to have a conversation with our sponsors. And it's okay if they follow up with you to engage with them and talk with them. These are nice people. Brian and Whitney and Aaron are genuinely interesting, and they're interested in what you do. It helps them better understand the industry and the job market. So please come to our events, and please come willing to talk to people, including our sponsors. That was longer
Next
than
slide.
anybody expected. In addition to our sponsors, go ahead, Joe. We have preferred partners that offer discounts to our members and how to proceed if you're interested in getting certification or taking some classes and that kind of stuff. And we have featured providers where just by the very nature of you being a member, you have access to discounts. With the preferred partners, there's a portion sometimes of that tuition or registration that comes back to the chapter, but it's always for the benefit of our members.
Okay, folks, we are going to use Mentimeter or Mentee to do some kind of ad hoc questions and surveys throughout the course of the presentation. So if you want to take a moment and fill out the, you can do this on your phone, or if you want to do it on your computer, you can do that too. But go ahead and log into Mentimeter, and it should come up automatically with the first question of what city are you calling from. But we'll leave this screen up for a moment just to give people a chance to get logged in. Anybody having any problems or anything?
Nope, it worked.
Okay, go ahead and raise your hand with the react button if you're ready to move forward, just so I can get a rough idea how many people are ready. Wow. Several people from Cleveland, several people from Twinsburg.
South Carolina, okay.
Yeah. Where is Marblehead? Is that South Carolina?
Ohio.
That's
Ohio?
Ohio, by
Marblehead
on the lake,
is?
on Lake Erie.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's on Lake Erie.
I'm
in Akron usually, but I'm
just
calling from
demonstrated
Aiken,
my
South
ignorance.
Carolina.
What can I say? Okay, so we've got people spread out all over the area. Okie dokie. Well,
Andy,
as you can see from
see
this,
that
and
people have their hands up? A couple of people have their hands up, Andy.
I did not see that. Sorry.
Yep.
Someone
Hands
have
are up.
questions?
No, hands
No,
are
no,
up
no,
s-
'cause if
saying that
you-
we
You said
voted.
put your hands up if we have the Mentimeter.
Oh, I did
thought
say
it would
that.
automatically come down.
Yeah, you can put your hands down. I apologize.
Simon says.
Simon says. Okay, Joe, let's go ahead and move to our next slide. And what we wanted to show you here is the basic org structure for our chapter. As you can see, I'm going to kind of quickly run through things. We have the governance board where we have 5 members that are elected, more or less everyone's elected at large. And then within that governance board, we then, amongst the board, elect who's president, secretary, and treasurer, which is a little unique. I've come to learn over the past couple of years since joining the governance board, in that a lot of chapters will elect the positions directly, and we do not do that. And what I will say is I think this structure works well. It's actually a copy of what PMI International does. And one of the reasons I like this structure is I've seen in meetings we've had with PMI over the last couple of years, a number of chapters where there's too much infighting amongst the board because someone gets elected as president and tries to mandate what's going on, and the rest of the board doesn't agree, and long story short, it's led to a lot of ineffective boards across other chapters. So I think we've got a pretty good structure, which I feel works very well. Underneath the governance board, we have an operations board, which are appointed. They are not up for election, and we have a head of operations, which is Cullen. I will introduce people directly here in a moment. I'm sorry. We have outreach, and then we also have member services. Underneath that, then we're just indicating what different areas or departments are kind of reporting to the different ops board areas. And then underneath that, we have vice presidents and directors of the various entities entities throughout the chapter. Joe, if we want to move to the next slide. Ramya, did you want to take this or?
Yep, I'm ready. Thanks, Andy, and thanks, Joe, for keeping us moving, right? So this is our current, actually individually appointed and elected people. So I am the chapter president. Steve, who could not be here today, is our chapter secretary, and Ben is our treasurer. These are the three named roles that we are required to nominate as a nonprofit operating in the state of Ohio. We have two directors at large. Currently, that's Andy Macy and Nikki Sharan. Nikki and Ben are the most recently elected governance board members. So once we finish the election in the fall and at the beginning of 2026, we as a governance board agreed and voted on what roles each of us would take. And then, of course, the appointed operations board, of course, is Joe, Dominic, and Cullen for each of those three sort of program silos. All of these teams are looking for volunteers. So the reason we introduced this structure to you is because we want you to be aware of how the chapter is organized. And if there are people today on the call, or you know of someone who's interested in volunteering for the chapter, make sure they can understand which area of the chapter they can actually contribute in, and where they can, where their interests are, where their skill sets are. That's how we found several of our VPs and directors. Our most recent group of VPs was, for example, Karen Burke, and we moved Cullen into the operations role. So we have a kind of a very diverse and open org structure, and anyone who has any interest or any skill set, we will probably find a place for you to help us with the running of the chapter. So if we move to the next slide, I do have one very important announcement to make. Effective April 1st, I will be stepping down from the president's role and from the governance board. I'm extremely honored to have been able to serve this chapter for the past couple of years as the president, and serve with this esteemed team. But our family is moving out of the Northeast Ohio region. And so I'm trying to plan this transition as easily and seamlessly as possible. And so the good news is that Andy Macy has graciously accepted to be the chapter president. And we just completed voting in Arun, who is our director at large number 2, who Nikki and Arun will be individually responsible for kind of individual initiatives and strategic execution for keeping our chapter's strategy moving forward. Everything else remains the same. The April 1st date was also significant because we want to make sure that we get through kind of all of our charter renewals and annual plan and all of the administrative things that are required at the beginning half of the year, so I can be there and help Andy make the transition into this very important role. I do think that you will be in very good hands. I have full faith in this new governance board. I think that they will absolutely carry forward the legacy and the strategy that we defined together with you in the fall. So I see all of the messages. Thank you, everyone. It's been my honor. Next slide. So we have another Menti question, and this was just something that we were talking about. All is a good one. I like that project management is an industry in and of itself. I like that.
Interesting group of industries there.
Yeah, I mean, I see legal, law, manufacturing, and technology for sure.
You just wonder if there is an industry that isn't going to
Isn't,
be
yeah,
affected.
for sure. I also don't know how well AI is actually integrated. I just feel like everything we're seeing, we're just um, like surface level.
Yeah, scratching the
It-
surface.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, for sure.
No AI is
What I
actually
what I
integrated.
have started to see though is it's kind of cutting back on some of the entry level positions that are more repetitive, where AI is maybe taking over some of those positions, and that I can see that being a concern for people coming in, entering the workforce, moving forward. Some of those first step positions may not be as plentiful as they once were.
I do like Alan's comment that the skilled trades will not be affected. I think that there is a, I mean, maybe on the automation side, but maybe consumer trades won't. So,
I would agree with Alan's
yeah.
sentiment there too. There's a known, what am I trying to say? There's a lot of skilled labor positions that aren't being filled because there aren't enough skilled laborers to fill them.
Yep. All right. Should we move on?
We shall move on.
Okay.
Okay, we are going to start off with a recap of what occurred in 2025. And if we want to move to the next slide, I will briefly introduce, or via this slide, the operations board moving forward. The only thing I will note is Cullen is new in his position in operations. Ben, who is now on our board, filled that position throughout most of 2025. But Joe and Dominic have been the backbone of our chapter for longer than most of us want to admit to. So, again, thanks Joe, Dominic, and Cullen for stepping in, and I will turn things over to the three of you as we move into the 2025 recap with operations. Cullen?
Thank you. And so if you haven't met me, I'm Colin McCulloch. I have actually been serving with this chapter for about 3 years as the VP of Administration. Ben moved up and I moved right in under his coattails there. So if you're not familiar with operations, our division consists of these three things: the budgeting side of the house, volunteering, and administration. So, under the budget, we approved the budget for 2026. In 2025, we have supported and will continue to support the budget through QuickBooks, accurate financial reporting, quarterly budget reports, and just timely bill payments to make sure everything's up to snuff there. We also continue to stay within the limits of our budget, but that's as far as I'm really going to go into budgeting, because in a few slides from now, the treasurer will be covering all your other questions. Going into volunteering, though, our job postings have been revised, and we continuously manage them on the volunteer website for essentially easier read throughs, more accurate job descriptions, and it really just helps the right person find the right job. This really led to the streamlining of 6 of our volunteers to help keep our programs running smoothly. And if you're interested in volunteering, it's really easy to find. Just go to volunteer.pmi.org and just filter for Northeast Ohio. And keep an eye on it every so often. If you see stuff doesn't really match, people are leaving, coming and going. So the right match might be there for even like 3 months or something like that. And then we continue to keep the organizational chart up to date with people coming in and out as well. So it just helps better cross-functional communication across the board as well. And then on the administration side of the house, elections, they're one of those no-fail tasks. And we've had another successful election this year, as we will next year and the years beyond. And it's especially streamlined now that we created an easy-to-follow flow chart for future generations as well. So we did have a low voter turnout this year, and we encourage you as September starts to roll around to keep your eye out for the Monday Pulse. It'll give you a link to candidate biographies. It'll let you know when voting happens, and you can really just see who you think's best to run this chapter and vote them in. So your voice does matter. So a higher voter turnout is always better. I think we know a little bit about voting by now anyway. And speaking of voting, we will have a mandatory bylaw update this year. It falls under the new membership model, and it will have to go to a vote. So in a couple months, start keeping your eyes open for that sort of vote too. And if you're not familiar with the new membership model, don't worry, we have a slide for that too later. And then lastly, we filled 2 key administration roles to help run and refine our systems just very recently. So we're going to onboard them, and they're going to help with program development, election cycles, and additional administrative tasks as they come up. You don't get a lot of flash in the pan with operations, but we do keep things running. So on that slide, please.
All right, thank you, Colin. So for member services, we have 3 major arms: professional development, marketing, and programs. In professional development, we've had partnerships with Baldwin Wallace, Beat Business, and Velocity Teach, all that provide professional education, certification, prep courses, offer discounts to chapter members. We started a new partnership with IIL 2024. We've continued that relationship last year and this year. What's great about IIL is they offer webinars that we've taken advantage of, and also a discount on their IPM Day, International Project Management Day offering, plus other goodies that they offer at a discount for being a chapter partner. Our marketing team's doing a bang-up job. Great work this past year, 2025, in updating the website, refreshing the content. A lot of the pages were updated, navigation was simplified. Great job, that team, in getting the website up to date. We have expanded our social media footprint, include threads. We're looking to do more metrics around social media and also on the website, just to make sure we're watching traffic and just making sure we're doing the right thing. And we're thinking about doing some short reel video content. We do mostly text or photo, but we'd like to do some reels, video, short things in our social media. So our team's going to be looking to that this year and investing in tools and volunteers to help us with that. The third important group here is programs. We continue to offer multiple monthly in-person and webinar format events. We probably do two events a month plus Dominic will talk about in a minute, a lot of great outreach, membership type of social events too. So there's plenty to do with our chapter. We offer an excellent professional development day. Talk a little bit about it a little bit later about our next one and our International Project Management Day. We do those signature events plus any other signature events that happen to happen during the year. So 3 great areas here. Appreciate all the work this last year and looking forward to delivering more this year. Over to you, Dominic.
Awesome, thanks. Okay, so there are 6 directions, 6 outreach streams that we go, 7 if you break out potential members for membership, but academic, community, executive, industry, members, and military. So on the academic side, thanks to Arun and Glenn and Dan and Chris, those are career presentations on college campuses. We present in class or exhibit on campus for a chunk of the day, and we need volunteers that are willing to present or sit at a table to answer questions for about a 4-hour shift every so often when a college invites us to be present at their college. And so it's as simple. If you're any interest in that, just send me a note, outreach@PMINEO.org. And for fun, let me know your alma mater, and I'm going to guess your sports mascot. On the community stream, we talked a little bit about these PMINEO meetups, and they've evolved over 2025. Meetups are micro networking events that are built around specific interests or passions, so our members have something to share besides our interest in project management, right? So we talked about, the turkey trot. We talked about the Valsano. We did a meetup for Pride. So the idea was to do these all like at events, but in 2025, we had some success doing them virtually ahead of some events. So as Raj mentioned, on March 17th, we're going to do a virtual PMINEO meetup ahead of the NCAA tournament. So Roger, thanks for organizing a chapter for us. That'll be fun. I don't know, Roger, if we should have a prize for the winner or some kind of challenge for the loser, right? And I'm curious to know what you think are other ideas for a good meetup opportunity. Again, just send me an email. It's right down there at the bottom of the screen. Just send it to me. Somebody mentioned the Oscars might be a good topic for a meetup. Maybe we'll do that next year. We will continue to do the holiday lights in December. That will be in person. And this is all about meeting up based on our geography at a lighting display that's close to you. So it's something definitely in person. And thanks to Aaron and Rania, we were downtown at Public Square. We were at Westlake at Crocker Park and in Akron at Lock 3. So you bring the family, we'll bring the hot chocolate. And if you're downtown, I'll get you some marshmallows for that hot chocolate. Social good has been a part of our community outreach. Those are volunteering opportunities where we can use our project management skills to help a nonprofit organization. In the past, we've provided, just arms and legs to assist with Metro Parks cleanup and shoes and coats for kids outreach. There's nothing in the works right now for social good, but it's something we, down the road, we'd like to get back to doing some of that. Our executive outreach is very successful, and I want to thank Judith Axton Borland from ACODIS, one of those sponsors who are a joy to talk to. There is a thought leadership council that's comprised of people that hire, manage, and supervise volunteers, project managers, rather. Oh, we need volunteers that supervise project managers. They meet quarterly on topics that are specific to what they do, right? And we have sort of an arm's length relationship. It's an invitation only group. But with this group, we're able to promote the value of certification, the value of having employees that are actively involved in the chapter, and encourage those PMs that they hire, supervise, and manage to be active in the chapter and look for people that are active in the chapter when they're making their hiring decisions. And we also glean from this group information on what they are looking for when they hire, supervise, and manage their project managers. And we take that information and that goes back into our programming so that we can offer our members the kinds of things, skills that people that hire, supervise, and manage project managers are looking for. Another stream is industry. The annual awards are a way that we reach out to the executive level with opportunities to recognize project management activities within the organization. But it's also something that works as we reach out to the Northeast Ohio industry, right? So our team of Martina and Brenda and Dave and Essence are working on those awards right now. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Specifically, but that's how we reach the industry. We've already talked quite a bit about our sponsors, and I want to thank Adam for his assistance in keeping our sponsorship deliverables on track. We also want to do more. We want to build a cadre of industry liaisons to help promote the chapter from within these large companies that hire a multitude of project managers, but we need volunteers. We also want to manage our relationship with professional organizations that sort of align with us in our area, but we need volunteers. So if there's any interest in learning more about those, just drop me an email. My email is right there at the bottom. And then another stream is the military veterans. Military experience is great training for project management. And our goal is to reach out to these group of potential project managers to preach the good news of project management to them, show them how their experience in the military lends itself to a post-military career in project management, and transition those into future members of our chapter. And so Steve and Roger and Anthony are working on the dual challenges of how do we target and reach these prospective vets, and then how do we identify and sell the value of participating in our vet-specific programs. So we have a team working on that outreach stream. Then we get into our members, membership and potential members. The awards that we're going to talk about a little bit later also apply as we reach out to our members to recognize their achievements in applying good project management techniques. We can reach out to our members in more meaningful ways, right? Data analysis on our members. We have an event in Sandusky later on this spring. It's at the very, very edge of our geographic footprint. But the West Edge, they deserve some love. And we're also working with the Western Lake Erie chapter since we sort of share that border. And so, special outreach in that case to our members that are in that area. But in addition to geography, we want to do some more outreach based on what industry when applicable and that kind of stuff. And also more touch points with our members to engage them based on their interests, certifications, tenure in the chapter, and that kind of stuff. This group also handles our special events, our happy hours, our ball games, our bowling, our tobogganing, and they work with the program team. And all this is being juggled by Karen, our VP, and then Aaron and Rania, who also help with that. And so if you're interested in being involved there, guess what? Start by dropping me an email. Speaking of special events, we're going to decide right here and right now with all you guys if we're going to do golf this year. So if you want to do any kind of golf this year, just let me know. Guess what? Drop me an email. The golf outing is typically the Friday afternoon after Labor Day. And if that's something you want to do and you say, yeah, let's do it, then I'm going to expect you to register for it, right? Or if you want to do an evening event at Top Golf, or if you don't want to do any golf, just send me an email, and we're going to use that information, and that's what we're going to go with. And wrapping up our membership and potential membership outreach, I mentioned at the top of this that we have our get to know the chapter session, and it's really been awesome to do those. We have members that have been members for years, but never took the time to learn about the chapter and thought, it's about time I figure out what this chapter is about. I've had it on my LinkedIn profile for years. We have new members, which is great we introduce a chapter to them. And we have people just thinking about or wanting to learn more about project management. Lastly, I'll leave with one big announcement, and that is that we are going to have a project management specific job fair on April 8th, and BW is going to host it for us from 3 to 7 p.m., and we're going to offer free headshots, professional headshots. And Karen, we will get to your, go ahead and weigh in there, Karen, for me. Karen, did you want to add something?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, just mishit the buttons. But anyway, what I wanted to just say is we just had a meeting this past week. So there are a couple other events we're talking about planning this year besides the outreach in Sandusky, having an event out at Sawmill Creek in the Sandusky area. We're potentially planning a kayaking / flats evening on a Friday afternoon where we meet up and go kayaking on the Cuyahoga and then stay for, happy hour dinner on a Friday night in August. Derek Dombrowski's looking at that. And then we are talking about a Gervasi vineyard potential event in the fourth quarter so we can hit that bottom, that southern area of our membership. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. That's some great new thinking and different thinking coming out of our membership group. Appreciate that. So that wraps it up for the outreach portion. Thank you for listening to my little spiel here. Thanks.
Okay, moving on then, we are going to move into our financial summary and forecast for last year and for the coming year. And on that, Ben, I will turn the floor over to you.
All right. Thanks, Andy. Hello, everyone. I'm Benjamin Todd. Pleased to be the treasurer this year, moved up from operations, and just want to say thanks to you guys for being here. I'm going to walk you through a quick, and hopefully clear look at our chapter's finances for 2025 and the forecast for 2026. It's going to kind of tell us a little bit about what came in, what went out, and what it means for us moving forward. So the slide that you're looking at right now is our actual revenue slide. The actual revenue is $54K. It's a little bit less than what we planned, which was $76K. So we achieved about 70% of our planned revenue. The good news about that is we were able to keep our expenses at about 60% of the budget by only spending $48K for a surplus of $5,000, which is really, really good. So achieving that surplus of, despite the revenue shortfall, demonstrates that we're in real good shape. We prove that we are excellent with our fiscal management and ability to adapt. And by keeping our spending well within the actual means, we've ensured the organization remains on a stable and sustainable path for its mission. Next slide, please. So just take a big picture. We had a solid year, as stated by our program managers, which kind of told us a little bit about what we did in 2025. Our reserves are really, really good at about $234,000. Our revenue streams, they're steady. Our spending's aligned with what we're here to do, which is support you guys, our members. There's nothing alarming in these numbers at all. And I think we've got a lot to feel really, really good about. Next slide, please. So this shows that we brought in the $53,963 this year. And as you can see, most of that, I guess about 3/4 of that came from our membership dues, which I think Andy stated before. The rest came from things like sponsorships and programs. From what I understand, this mix is pretty normal for PMI chapters. And it just shows the importance of making sure that you, our members, are really, really engaged in renewing, and that we're doing things to make this thing happen. So this chart makes it really easy to see the split there. Membership's clearly our main engine. The other revenue slice is helpful but smaller, and we're going to work to grow that area, which will give us a little bit more balance and a little bit more flexibility. On the expense side of things, we spent about 48.5. Most of that, well, almost all of that, or almost 60% of that went directly into programs. We talked a lot about investing in our members, so that's exactly where we wanted to invest these dollars. We also spent some money on web support and operations and board expenses. That's going to make up the rest. And all of those numbers are at reasonable levels for non-for-profits. Next slide. We got a lot working in our favor here. We have strong membership revenue. We've got spending that supports our mission, low overhead, a positive year-end balance. So those are all signs that the chapter is managing its resources very well. Next slide. So now let's talk a little bit about 2026. This year's budget is approximately $72,000. We anticipate having a membership revenue of $35K. We're going to transfer $23,000 from our savings to make sure that we're have the monies that we need to support our strategic plan. And then we anticipate that other revenues will come in at around $13.5 this year. Next slide, please. And this is the way that we plan to spend our money this year. We plan to spend approximately 40% of it on programs, about 20% on web support and marketing. The Gov Board expense is going to be about 25%, and that's going to do some things that's going to give us the ability to leverage information from other chapters, attend conferences and workshops and things that's going to give us information to bring value back to the chapter. And then we're going to try our best to keep our operations budget at around 10%. Together, these four categories just kind of shows our strategic focus, governance outreach, and our program delivery. So thank you guys for your time, and I'm going to turn it back over to Andy. Thank you.
Okay, folks, we are going to transition here with another Mentimeter question. So if you want to go ahead and open up Mentimeter, and Joe, if you want to move Menti along for us.
Joe, I think that's the next question. This is just the first question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so about a 50-50 split, but a few more people are not aware of the new membership model. Some of us are. Joe, is there another question? I look like that's a question one of two. I don't know if there's another one after this.
No, I think when I reused the slide, it made it a quiz slide versus a poll.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
That's my bias.
Then we will get into the new membership model a little bit later in the presentation, but at this point I wanted to turn things over to Ramya, who's going to discuss the 2026 strategy and vision. Ramya, you want us to move to the next slide?
Yes, please. All right, so everything we saw up until now is how we kind of manifested the PMI strategy and the things that we did that aligned us with overall what the PMI strategy was. The PMI strategy, and you'll probably see this and hear about this over and over and over, is that we maximize project success to elevate our world. And this is something that we kind of keep in mind, and how every chapter is sort of enabling this vision and purpose to materialize is kind of our chapter's mission, right? So we do things like we build community, and we offer kind of gold standard in certifications, and offer content that helps our certified members to maintain their continuing education units and those kinds of things. That sort of becomes the de facto sort of raison d'etre, right, of why our chapter exists, why we are doing the things that we're doing. But we need to kind of layer on our own strategy on top of it. And that's why, as you probably know, every year we conduct an annual strategic planning session where we invite all of our chapter members, and we talk about how our strategy needs to manifest, and how we continue to add value to our members, and what we can do to continue to define our existence, our value add, and our identity as a chapter. So if we move to the next slide, Joe, and the one after that, right? How do we support the overarching PMI strategy? Is we are stewards of the chapter, not only the chapter funds, but also chapter resources, chapter volunteers. We are stewards of all of the content we deliver that is aligned with PMI's mission. We offer kind of networking opportunities, and we build community around the project management profession in the region that our chapter is operating in. We are kind of also a knowledge repository, and in general, you saw from kind of the programming, the outreach, as well as kind of all of our administrative and operational things that we are doing, we are kind of the go-to, the brand, right, for anything related to project management in the Northeast Ohio area. We've built relationships with businesses, we've built relationships with universities, academics, staffing agencies. We're doing networking, we're doing job fairs, all kinds of things, everything tailored towards maximizing member value so that they can maximize project success. If you go to the next slide. So this is just, none of this has actually changed, right? Our vision and mission stays the same because it continues to be aligned with what PMI's core purpose, vision, mission, and values statements are. So we're not going to, when we talk about strategy, right, there are things that we change, the things that we keep. These are some of the things that are core to us, our core values. We're not going to change those. Next slide. Over the past few years, as you probably saw, we had, kind of a breadth versus depth kind of a strategy where we said we are going to redefine the PMI Northeast Ohio brand. And we felt it was important to do this because we heard from our members at the time that coming out of the pandemic, we're not sure exactly who to go to, right? So we started doing a lot of things that kind of reinvented our brand. We said that marketing our website updates and all of our content and our social media was all aligned to kind of a key branding strategy that said that PMI Northeast Ohio is the go-to place for anything related to project management in the Northeast Ohio area, right? So we do our flagship events, such as the chapter awards. We do our PDD, we do IPM Day. These are all things that everyone, our membership, has come to expect from us as PMI Northeast Ohio. Last year, one other thing that we did was we celebrated our 35 years of PMI Northeast Ohio. It was a great event, right? We had a casino night, a great turnout. Todd was, spearheading that event, and it was a fantastic night of celebration and a night to recognize how far we've come from where we started. Similarly, we also wanted to kind of impact very deeply all of the people that we were serving in our community, right? So we wanted to coexist with other community service organizations that exist in the Northeast Ohio area that are serving different purposes, right? And so we did a couple of sessions at the Shoes and Coats for Kids. We've started doing these get to know the chapter networking at noon, what used to be called previously called office hours. We're doing that. We started the military outreach program, like Dominic was talking about, continued our chapter meetups, but also are starting to evolve those. And then we also recognized that there are people that are new to the chapter, new to the project management profession, and also new professionals, like younger professionals. And those are the people that we wanted to target, right? Students, fresh graduates, people who would benefit from being part of this project management community through mentorship programs, through learning from experienced project managers. We also did like a reverse panel discussion, right? And that was a hugely successful event where, we solicited questions from the young professional panel rather than them having to, listen to stuffy old project managers and giving them advice that's like maybe not even necessarily applies, right? So we tried to do a lot of creative thinking of how we engage the community, how do we spend more time with them, and how do we go across a broad array of our membership demographics, as well as how do we impact them as deeply as possible. So we did like this multi-dimensional 2-year-long strategy, which I think we were pretty successful with. We did see some, as you saw, we did see some dips in our membership revenue. Didn't grow as much as we expected. However, we are still kind of, 4 or 5 years coming out of the pandemic. We're still trying to get our wheels back on, and we're trying to get our membership to go back to what it was. And so we welcome any feedback, any questions, any commentary that you might have, any way that you can be involved to help us achieve those what I think are pretty ambitious goals. So where do we go from here, right? What does our 2026 strategy look like? And for those of you who attended the annual planning session, thank you. That was one of the probably the more illuminating sessions that I've had in the past few years, and as well as some of the things that we learned, right? As a leadership team, when we went to LIM and we learned from other chapters, we learned that there are things that they are doing that we can easily adapt and make it our own, just given where we are geographically and the rich culture and type of industries that we are serving in this area, right? So we said that we would divide our strategy into kind of 3 key focus areas. Again, I like to keep the strategy as simple as possible so that it's easy to understand and execute on, and we can derive initiatives out of each of those, right? And that's what we're targeting right now. So we said we're going to keep it really simple, continue our path of like engaging the young professionals. So mentorship is now a key strategic objective. We've elevated mentorship to a strategic level. We've appointed Raj as the VP of mentorship. He reports directly to the governance board, right? And we have a pool of mentors and mentees that are now available to offer and network and offer our, and hopefully everyone will take advantage of what we have to offer. I'll actually go back to the value proposition at the end. The other key area that we want to focus on is when a new member comes into our chapter, we want to hold their hand and we want them to understand what it means to be part of this chapter. And much of that is actually related to this new membership model that we are talking about, right? And so we will plan to have certain sessions that help communicate what the new membership model is, but also I'm hoping that this new governance board is energized to develop this onboarding package, right? Which means that what does a member do when they first join, right? What can they expect? What are the types of events that they can attend? What are the things that they're eligible for? What guidance can they get? All of those things need to go into this onboarding package, and we need to continue to evolve it as we move forward. And more than anything else, the reason we want to do this now, why the timing of this is so critical, is because of this new membership model. And I don't want to continue to mystify this. And it's the new membership model is basically a unified membership where basically you're paying for your PMI membership and you're paying for your chapter membership, all included in a single fee. That change has happened throughout the rest of the world. The US was the last cohort to adopt it, and I think we are still considered a large chapter. We as a large chapter are in kind of the final cohort that rolls out the new membership model. I have a lot about the timelines and the benefits and all of that in a future slide, but just so everyone understands, with this new membership model, I think it is even more important to emphasize the importance of an onboarding package, so that when new members join our chapter, they are not blind, and they understand what they need to, where they need to go, what they can do to seek help. And then the last thing is this value proposition, or map to 60. And we talked a lot about this at the strategy session, right? We said that the map to 60 is basically, if you are a chapter member, you don't need to seek anywhere else a source for your PDUs, right? And how does the chapter help our member continue to maintain their certification through the course of their membership? So as part of that, we want to increase and turn like significantly dial up how much membership value add we are getting, right? So we've talked about doing experiential events. So if you haven't already, please register for the April 15th Cleveland Museum of Art event, which is a Manet and Morisot exhibit, where we have the curator of that exhibit and a senior project manager coming to talk to us about what it takes to put together an exhibit like that. That is a PDU event, but it's going to be an incredible learning experience for everyone. So make sure you're registered. Event details are on the calendar page, and I'm sure someone will post the link here in the chat as well. Dominic talked about evolving meetups, talked about the job fairs. We're also going to develop a marketing campaign, right, that highlights what that value add to the chapter is, and it's almost to keep this constantly in people's memories, right? So we wanna do a campaign that consistently refreshes itself and is reminding our members of all of the benefits that they may or may not be taking advantage of. And then we also have like flagship, right? Like just like we saw with the branding, we have the chapter awards and all of those things that are also a huge benefit of being a chapter member. Next slide. So I think, Dominic, are you going to talk about your Ghost of Christmas Past, Present, and Future?
Spoiler alert. Yes. Yes, I am.
Sorry.
So I did talk about the awards, and we do have them coming. The nominations are currently open, and they will culminate with a happy hour awards reception April 23rd at the Sanctuary, which is in Independence. And we will also be presenting the Anastasi Award for Volunteer of the Year, named after our very own Joe Anastasi. So there's a link there, but Joe, go ahead and jump to the next one. Perfect. So our annual awards, the three of them that we take nominations and then are then judged, are likened to the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future. So maybe you've heard this before, but indulge me for just a second, right? So you have the ghost of Christmas past. You have somebody who has over time, over your history, has maybe mentored you, maybe introduced you to project management, maybe has inspired you, or has been a role model to you on your project management journey. So think of that as our project manager of the year, somebody who has served in that role. And then you have the ghost of Christmas present, which is our project of the year, our Kersner Award for Project Excellence, which is an event that has wrapped up in 2025. So by December 31st, 2025, it concluded. It doesn't have to be the world's biggest project. You didn't have to, dig the channel, but something enterprise level, in that range, something that used good project management techniques. Obviously, it didn't go perfectly. If it did, we would know you were lying. So that's the ghost of Christmas present. And then we have the ghost of Christmas future, or the ghost of Christmas yet to come. That is our, oh, I did not update this slide. This is our emerging professional of the year. When we did use young professional for a number of years, but understanding as we evolve and understand how we all transition into project management at different times in our career. And so sometimes we spent years in technology, or years on the floor in manufacturing, or years doing something else, or in the military, and we then transitioned into project management. So what this is our emerging professional of the year is somebody who is new to project management, that has already demonstrated an understanding and appreciation for what project management discipline and systematic approach has to offer for being a change maker. Now, you do not need to be a member of the chapter to nominate. You do not need to be a member of the chapter to be nominated. And you can self-nominate, because nobody knows your projects better than you do. The only caveat is that it has to somehow or other relate to Northeast Ohio. So either the team or a member of the team is in Northeast Ohio, or the project took place in Northeast Ohio. Doesn't have to be both. And so the nomination process, I assure you, is very simple. The biggest challenge we have to the awards is getting people to nominate. Is understanding that, look, your project is worthy of consideration. So don't be shy. Spread the word. There's lots of great projects out there. There's lots of great project managers, and there's lots of great emerging professionals out there. So please take a moment, go look at the application process, the nomination process. You'll see that it's very simple. And also, the happy hour is just that. It is a happy hour. It is a social event, and built into that, we will have an opportunity to present the awards in April. So it's a happy hour on it in its own right. So don't, just because you're not involved in the application, in the nomination process, or the awards, it's still a happy hour, and it'll be fun to meet the award recipients. Thank you.
Joe, you want to talk about this?
I was about to say, Joe, I believe this is your slide.
Yes, I was trying to get off the mute. So, so we have two signature events every year. Last year we had the 35th anniversary as well. But this year we again continue to have Professional Development Day and International Project Management Day. Professional Development Day, we're still planning the event. We're getting really close to having everything nailed down. We're targeting the third week of June, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. We've lined up two really good speakers. We would have speakers and a tour of the Cleveland Museum of Natural History. So yes, it kind of feels like a museum theme the first half of this year, with the Art Museum in April and then the Museum of Natural History in June. The topic and theme is TBD. We're going to kind of align the speakers and their presentations to see if we can come up with a theme, but there'll be 4 or 5 PDUs awarded for those of you that are certified, and a great way to network and enjoy and learn about the museum as well. And we may have a panel discussion depending on time. So that's coming up in June. So can't tell you to save the date yet till we have a date, but we're getting close. International Project Management Day always happens on the first Thursday of November. We're going to promote 2 events that first week of November. We will probably have an evening presentation the day before Project Management Day. So we've kind of tongue-in-cheek called it IPM Eve. And it'll be in person at Baldwin Wallace. We'll have another good speaker there as well. And we'll work with Baldwin Wallace to leverage their facilities. And also our partnership with IIL, they offer all-day webinar series, and we'll offer that as a discount code to our chapter members. So if you're a chapter member, you'll get a discount code to take, let's pretend, $15 off an $89 charge for all day, 8+ hours of webinars. So it's been a good thing that we've partnered with IIL to offer that to you all.
Just one thing I'll interject about that, Joe, is the IIL offering on Project Management Day. Everything's recorded. You don't have to attend all of the sessions on IPM Day. You've got, I think it's 3 to 4 months after IPM Day to go through and take the recordings and report the PDUs. It's quite a value.
Yeah, thank you. Good ad there. All right.
Okay, moving on. The next slide is mentoring. And Roger doesn't know this, but I'm also going to call on him to add a few words if he would like about our mentoring program. We are now kind of on a rolling cycle. We are trying to assign mentors to mentees as we get the requests. We've built up kind of a backbone of mentors, several of which are on this call, including Roger. But we are always looking for additional mentors and obviously mentees. So if you are interested in either of those, please send emails to the mentoring at PMINEO.org address at the bottom. There are a couple of things, though, that we do require of mentees and mentors. You must be a chapter member. This is a benefit we are not offering to the outside world. This is strictly for chapter members. And as such, they must agree to the PMI Code of Ethics and Professional Conduct. Also with mentoring, it is not intended to be a substitute for the PMI education providers. We are not trying to tutor people to take their exams. That's what the education providers are there for. We intend this program to provide project managers with career guidance and insight and kind of how to help develop their career in the industry moving forward. And then if you want to be a mentor, we would like you to have some type of a history of participating in a mentorship program in the past. Roger, anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, Andy, Dominic said in the chat, and I'll second it. Thanks for getting this off the ground last year. You set me up for success and handed this over to me. And it wasn't until today that you were alluding to something new. Now we know that it's because you're going to be the new chapter president and you needed to turn it over. So appreciate that. One relatively hot off the presses, we just finished all of the active mentors participated in about mid-December through just yesterday. We finished building a mentor onboarding guide. And I'll be getting that into a PDF format and getting it over to Elizabeth for addition to our website and to be getting information out there. So it helps as a guidance for new mentors that may not have done it before, as well as mentees to understand what to expect. It's a little bit of a phased approach, much like a project, but of course in a relationship building facet of what a 12-week engagement over the course of essentially 3 months looks like. And it sets expectation management as well up front for both mentees and mentors. And then the second piece I wanted to just mention, we have pulled up coming into the new year. We've got 4, I believe, if not 5, new requests for mentees, and I am vetting those. Got to make sure that they're members of the chapter and understanding what they're looking for. I've tentatively looked at who I would like to assign to them as mentors. Once I get that vetting process done, I'll be reaching out to who I would love to have as a mentor for those individuals, one-on-ones, and we'll get that going. Overall, we really want this to be a foundational way to grow the chapter. And there are metrics I'm putting together to look at how many engagements that we have throughout the course of the year. And of course, we want those to be quality engagements. So I'll be putting together some metrics around that as well. So thanks, Andy.
Andy, you're
You're on
muted.
mute,
Muted.
Andy.
I'm sorry. Just saw that. The only thing I'll add to mentoring is that the mentoring programs are unique to each mentor and mentee relationship. The mentor and mentee will work out what the details of their individual mentorship program will be. So it's very tailored to the individual relationship. So that being said, we can go ahead and move on to the next slide, which we've been alluding to for most of the call. And Ramya, if you want me to fill in, I know your voice is fading here, but let me know if I can help you on this.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna try and fly past this because we only have a minute left. But so just as a preview, the new membership model, as we talked about, is a unified PMI membership. There are many benefits to it. Certainly, as a chapter, it certainly makes our administration and revenue tracking and budget and financials much easier for sure. But it also helps us access members who previously may not have been accessible to us before, right? And to deliver those values and may not necessarily expand our geographical footprint, but penetrate our geographical footprint deeper and reach out to more professionals that are present in the area, right? And how does it benefit the members, right? Like now you have an expanded network. We can think about, and there are many chapters that have started to do this. Once your membership reaches a critical mass, we can have sort of localized branch concepts too, right? And so it just more people in the network, more people in the membership pool equals more knowledge, more networking opportunities, more connections, expanded industry footprint and portfolio, and just overall a streamlining of the member experience. Now we will have sessions and a communication plan and everything. And Cullen alluded to the bylaws update, which is kind of the first step where we will change our bylaws to account for this new membership model. But in the meantime, if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to me or anyone else on the governance board, and we will continue to talk through and share our knowledge. We are also kind of receiving this knowledge from PMI Central through our regional coordinators, and so we're happy to share as much as we know. And then the next slide has kind of our rollout launch timeline. This came straight from the Global PMI, Central PMI rollout plan. We are in that last cohort, 3 and 4 cohort, and I think it looks like the way they were talking about it, basically, whenever your membership is up for the next renewal cycle is when it will take effect. So we still have a ways to go, but we're also kind of a little bit ahead because we've already started to look at our bylaws and make those changes, and we've started having conversations with our members about it.
One thing I did want to interject about the new membership model that we did discover here over the past year. It was rolled out in Canada this past year, and almost every chapter in Canada saw their membership numbers almost double. And that's going to affect our chapter greatly in that it's going to not only increase our membership, but it's going to increase our membership fees, which, as you saw from our budget, should see a dramatic increase in the influx of revenue coming to the chapter, which, in course, then leads to more money that we can spend on enhanced programs and services for our membership. So we're expecting this to have a really positive effect on the chapter as a whole.
Yeah.
But it also explains why we're having such a push for for our member services and increasing what we're doing to service our membership, because we feel the need to justify the expenses and provide the services to the influx of new members. So on that, I will turn things over, Ramya.
Yep.
I think, yep, we've got a series of, we've got one mentee question. Well, it looks like, as we kind of suspected, everyone on the call is already an active member in the chapter, so we weren't expecting the membership model to change your participation, but
Yeah, I mean, this is a new paradigm, and we will navigate it all together. So I'm actually looking forward to it.
yeah.
Because we then, as the chapter leadership, we have to start getting creative with how we serve all of our members, right? So,
Yep.
all right. So
Okay, I'm going to quickly kind of run through this in that all of this is on our chapter events board, but here's a quick list of some of the events coming up here over the next few weeks. One thing I will note is next Tuesday is the next networking at noon, which is the former office hours. So, folks, please sign up. That is intended. It's a kind of an open meeting for whatever you want to discuss. If you just want to network and talk with fellow PMs at noon, we can do that. If you need to commiserate with us on something that's driving you crazy with your project, we're there too. I've joked with people for years that PMI is just a support group for those of us in the project management field. So, but you can see there's a number of new things coming on throughout the course of the year. And then I think we've got a series of 3 additional mentee questions here for folks. interesting input on what you'd like to see for future events. Those of you who are putting in notes about PMO training, I misread that. My apologies.
I'm seeing big AI stuff right here. Maybe I should promote my upcoming webinar here.
Yeah.
I
It's
would promote it.
yeah, it's really just like it's Infinity is one of the it's the AI program essentially that PMI uses, and I'm going to go through like a user level. Here's what it is. Here's what it isn't. And then I've got a like a practical exercise that I developed that we'll go through that we'll just chat with Infinity. So it'll be at least 45 minutes, and you'll get one PDU from it. So if you're really interested in like the premier project management I recommend that you go sign up for it. It's free for members.
And it's in the chat. The link's in the chat.
We also did have last week, February 3rd, an overview of the PMBOK 8th edition and the PMP exam changes. If you were not able to attend, we have the recording on our YouTube channel. I'm going to move on to our next question.
Please.
This is a yes, no.
Well, I'm glad to see we don't have any haters out there at the moment. So.
I think we quit while we're ahead. Let's move ahead.
Yeah, there we go. Let's quickly move before we get one. Okay, Joe. Let's maybe move to the next slide then. Volunteer, there we go. And for those who are saying volunteer, we have a slide just for you coming up in a moment.
And also those who said volunteer, you know Dominic's coming after you.
All right.
Okay, folks, for those of you who aren't aware, we are on social media. There are all of the QR codes and web links to our social media. You can also find us on our website, at the bottom of the website, and various other places. So, and as promised, here's our top volunteering opportunities. Membership teams, industry liaisons, Map to 60. As Roger and I mentioned, we're always looking for mentors. And then new member onboarding. And then benefits of volunteering, our volunteer PDUs, giving back to the industry. Fantastic networking opportunity, and you learn new skills. So, again, feel free to visit the volunteering.pmi.org and search for PMI Northeast Ohio for the posted volunteer opportunities we have. With the exception of mentoring, you can just email mentoring directly or Roger directly at VP of Mentoring or VP Mentoring at PMINEO.org. So,
Is that VP dash mentoring?
I think it's just VP Mentoring. All one word.
I'm typing it in the chat.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, last but not least, what most people have been waiting for, their PDU claim code so they can get out of here. So we'll leave the screen here for a moment and you can record your PDU code so you can submit your time for this event.
Thank you everyone for joining. We really appreciate it. We know that we made you stay a little bit over. Thanks for your patience. Thanks to Andy for emceeing and taking us through this. And of course, cannot thank Joe enough for handling all of the logistics and the technology and making this seem much easier than I know it actually is.
Thanks, everyone. Great time.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night,
You want
everyone.
to stop the recording, Joe?
Yes, working on it.
Okay.